For decades, when Fidel Castro wanted to rail against American policies, he came here, the U.S. intersection in Havana. Since Cuba and the United States broke off relations in 1961, this, officially at least, was considered Swiss territory. Although there's no American flag or embassy sign, the United States says it has more diplomats in Havana than any other single country. The intersection has long acted as the front line in the U.S.-Cuba conflict. During the Elian Gonzalez saga, the Cuban government even built this massive stadium to hold demonstrations against the United States. Former U.S. diplomat Vicki Huddleston remembers seeing Fidel Castro leading demonstrations just below her balcony at the mission.
And you know, with a stone, I could have thrown it and hit Fidel. And it's sort of like we're always been the best of enemies. You know, there's always this relationship. There's a trust underlying. I'm not going to go out with my stone and throw it at Fidel, am I?
Not to say there hasn't been tension. James Kaysen, another former chief of the intersection, shocked the Cubans by installing an electronic ticker on top of the building in 2006.
I knew the Cubans would never allow us to talk to the Cuban people. So we decided we would talk over the heads of the regime by putting the moving billboard in the top floor of inside our windows.
Cuban officials responded by putting up rows of flags to cover the American messages. Eventually, diplomacy won out, and both the flags and the ticker were taken down. There have been fewer demonstrations here since Fidel Castro left power in 2006, and anti-U.S. government propaganda signs have been removed. U.S. diplomats say they face less harassment, but are still watched by Cuban government cameras and guards that surround the building. As relations normalize, the work of U.S. diplomats in Havana may transition from Cold War-era confrontation to addressing the needs of an increasing number of U.S. visitors to the once off-limits island.
We have many more American citizens coming to Cuba, and a small percentage of those run into problems. They have accidents, they become injured or ill, and they look to the U.S. Embassy, wherever they are abroad, to provide assistance. And we will, I believe, need additional full-time staff to deal with these challenges.
New challenges for a new chapter in U.S.-Cuban relations, as the United States on Monday, for the first time in 54 years, opens an embassy in Havana. Patrick Ottman, CNN Havana.